see you gather before me. Hungry, terrified, clutching your babes to your breast. Emperor Emir has marched his legions into our lands, laid siege to every fortress from here to the Blue Mountains. Rabid and ravenous, he bites and bites away. Men of the North, you stand at the precipice. Your kings have failed you, so now you turn to the gods. And yet you do not plead. You do not kneel to dust your heads with ash. Instead you wail, why have the gods forsaken us? We must look into the trials we failed long ago. In a time past, our world intertwined with another through an upheaval scholars call the conjunction of the spheres. The gods allowed unholy forces to slip into our domain. The offspring of that cataclysm was the nefarious force called magic. Yet we did not banish it, instead studying the vile arcane for our own power and wealth. And the monsters at our door, the unholy relics of this conjunction. The trolls, the corpse eaters, the werewolves. Did we raise our swords against them? Or have we laid this burden on others? On so-called witches. Stray children taught the ways of foul sorcery, their bodies mutated through blasphemous ritual. Sent to fight monsters, though they could not distinguish good from evil. The flicker of humanity, long extinguished within them. Yes, their numbers have dwindled through the years. But a few still roam our lands, offering their bloody work for coin. To this day, they shame us with their very existence. The North bleeds, flogged by war. The battles are the gods' whip, chastisement for our sins. And let us not forget the terrors, the scourges from beyond our world. The wild hunt rides the sky with every full moon. The Dark Raiders abduct our children into lands unknown. Some say they herald a second conjunction. Can we chart a course back into the light? Will we find the strength to banish the mages from our kingdoms? Unite around the warmth of the eternal fire. Nigh is the time of the sword and axe. None will fight this war in our stead. Nigh is the time of madness and disdain.
What's up, guys? ColdFusion here, and welcome to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So this is probably I'd say it's my favourite game of all time up until this point. There's been other games that I think might take contention for it. I'm currently replaying through God of War right now, and that game is fucking amazing. Apologies, if you're new to the channel, I will be swearing a lot. That's kind of what I do. Well, I'm a Brit, alright. That's what I do. Anyway, if you're wondering, I was going to do Devil May Cry 5. However, I have had some performance issues with that game. So if you're waiting on that, I'll try and see if I can get it working at some point. I tried it multiple times over like the past month or two, and I've not had any success with it. I guess maybe it's to do with game drivers or something like that. I've tried almost everything and nothing seems to work. I've not had the issue before. Like, I was going into the DMC series knowing that DMC 5 worked. Like, it ran like a dream for me before, so I was like kind of excited to get into it, but now it just doesn't fucking work. So I'm gonna try and work on that, and if I can get it working again, I will obviously upload that game, an LP on that. So anyway, in the meantime, I've got a few other games that I think I'll do an LP on, and a few games that I might try out for the first time at some point, but I just prefer the LP format to do, you know, just Let's Plays and that. It's because I can talk about some of the things I enjoy about the game without having to focus on a lot of the smaller details. And I do like to talk. As you probably, if anyone's seen the rest of my videos, I have long intros. I'm very verbose, I suppose you could say. Anyway. So, I'm hoping that I should be able to do this entire game in a full series. You know, presuming that nothing bad happens, like to any recordings or anything. In which case it's going to be a very long series, because playthroughs of this game, if you're very thorough, can take upwards of 100 hours. That's not a bad thing for me, though. And hopefully the audio balance is good, because I do seem a bit louder than the game when I was playing through it. I don't know if that's the case with the main theme here, whatever. Anyway, where do I start on this? We're gonna do a main playthrough of obviously the main game and both the DLCs. Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, as you can see in the bottom left there. I think, hold on, the first thing I want to do is options. I want to turn these off. I'll keep that on. Yeah, I want to keep the outfits for the other characters to their original versions for the sake of it. I don't think there's a whole lot else to talk about. I don't want to like, this is going to be very long. Like, this part might be like 90 minutes. The first box, I'm going to hopefully try and cover a lot. I don't want to continue. I want to make a new game. I have a lot of saves, I think. So let's get into this. If there's anything I forgot to mention, I'll probably remember it at some point. There's a lot to talk about in this game. I'm going to cover like the things I love about this game and also the things I will criticize. It's not a perfect game by any means. Definitely isn't. But I think for like the positives of this game vastly outweigh its negatives. And I think its negatives are not too bad compared to some other games I've played. Alright, so one of the cool features I like about this game is that you can start the expansions only. As you can see here, we can do a fresh start. So just, you know, normal new game. You can do Hearts of Stone only, so I can't do the main quests. And it basically, yeah, scales your gear and level for Hearts of Stone, and the same for Blood and Wine, and of course you have New Game Plus for any of your previous saves. We're going to do Fresh Start, of course, which I can do all of these. Right, difficulty. This is not even up for debate. It's going to be Deathmarch. Deathmarch is not too punishing as a difficulty once you understand how the combat works. Although I won't lie, it's one of the criticisms I have of the game is that it can be kind of Quen spam. I'll try not to utilize Quen as too much, but I know I'm gonna end up doing it anyway. I'm mostly here for the narrative. That's what I enjoy this game for. But you know, I'm just having an immersive world. But for the sake of it, we're gonna play it on Deathmarch. Sure, tutorials. I suppose I'll have this on, but I don't really need them. Simulate Witcher 2 save. Now, I can import my Witcher 2 save game, but I've not beaten The Witcher 2, so it'll be kind of superfluous to do that. I think putting it on or off won't matter. I'll just put it on, because I always make the same decisions anyway. I know what decisions I'm going to make. So yeah. Also, I haven't played this game for a little bit, so I'll probably be out the loop. I think that's fine. Let's get to it, I suppose. It's almost been 10 minutes and we haven't even got to the fucking game yet. Also, the audio for these cutscenes are a bit low. I know the full motion video, sort of like the pre-rendered cutscenes in this game. There aren't many of them, but they are quite low in volume. one of the first things I'm going to say is that the soundtrack and sound design in general in this game are pretty fucking impressive. It's really good. Hello. Good old bathtub Geralt. The meme himself.
You know I don't find that amusing.
Hello.
It wasn't meant to amuse, but to prod you to harm.
You know, if this video was monetized, YouTube wouldn't like this.
Train with her. Go before Vesemir bores her to death with those etchings.
So, later then.
See you later.
Also, yeah, I suppose I might as well say, but there is a lot of nudity and sex scenes in this game. There's nothing wrong with that, I'm just saying, but you know. In case anyone's sensitive to it, because that's the fucking world we live in nowadays. Everyone gets offended by everything. Okay, welcome to the tutorial. Welcome to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This tutorial will introduce the game's core elements. Each message will be saved in a glossary, where you'll also find detailed information about world lore and gameplay mechanics. Cool beans. Cool beans. Will I get anything else? Probably. I just want to... Yeah, here we go. Minimap and objectives. The minimap in the upper right hand corner of your display shows your current location and the surrounding area. Underneath the minimap, you'll find the objectives for your active quest. Okay. Don't keep throwing the tutorials at me right now. Yeah, I do have the Hairworks thing on. However, I won't lie, it does fuck with your frame rate quite heavily, and performance-wise. For the sake of this LP, I might turn it off just to make it more enjoyable to watch. I typically leave it on, personally, because, I don't know, I don't really like the base hair appearance because it just doesn't look nearly as good, but the Hairworks looks great. So I typically do it on when I'm just doing like an immersive playthrough. We'll see what happens. If I think that the frame rate gets a bit egregious at points, I will disable it. Look at this though.
Shit. Mountain Pass is beautiful as ever.
Sure is. Can we get rid of this off my screen? Okay, I understood. I suppose it wants me to do all the tutorial shit. Yeah, leave me alone. Let me actually do shit.
You're running out of juice.
I know. You might bring me some more once you're done training.
That's a small bath. Like, it doesn't look nearly that small in the cutscene. I also might as well say right now, but yeah, this entire game, like the Witcher series in general, is definitely a more mature RPG based in a sort of the more Slavic regions of Europe in a more fantasy medieval setting. There's a lot of politics in it, but it's internalized politics in the world. It is, a lot of it's based off of sort of real life regions and all that. You can definitely notice parallels, but yeah, there's still political elements to it, but they're pretty well written. In fact, this game's pretty well written for the most part. I don't really have too many complaints with it. I do think the DLCs do better with the writing though, especially Hearts of Stone.
Lilac and Gooseberries.
More on that when I actually get to that DLC. Alright, that's a euphemism and a half.
See, I thought Ciri could stand to wait a little longer.
It's uninstructive, not to mention unreasonable.
Let's be unreasonable.
I don't want to be reasonable.
Aha, so that's the way the wind blows. Go and train with her, then come back. It'll give me a chance to put my face on.
Of all the women I've known, you're the only one who does that before.
You've known many.
What's it matter? Only ever thought of you.
Unfortunately, she has the same response to every single option there. Kind of a shame, but whatever. I think the intention is that you're supposed to go through one route for the tutorial, and it'll do everything to guide you to that route.
Old Witcher's fast asleep. Ciri's disappeared somewhere, of course. Guess she prefers practice to theory.
What?
Time to wake up, Master. These lessons so boring they put you to sleep too.
Damn it. After taking notes on ghouls and alguls, wanted to rest my eyes a bit.
Oh, that's a lovely
Making
drawing.
her slog through that brick. No wonder she took off.
John of Bruges lacks flair, true, but he's reliable. Not like the hogwash they print nowadays. She's tackling the pendulums, right? How many times do I have to tell her? Don't train alone. It only embeds your errors. Bring our young damsel to the lower courtyard. She wants to practice, she'll get to practice.
Don't get mad at her.
Why the hell not? The whippersnapper refuses to do as she's told.
You like that about her.
Fine. I suppose I'm partly to blame. But this has to end. Now. Killing monsters is not something to be taken lightly. Ciri must understand that, if she is to become one of us. I'll see you below.
Wrong. Now I see why you were so eager to practice. Strike. You're not in this circus. Pirouette. Wrong. Footwork. Enough. Get down.
With a flip?
What do you think? Take off the blindfold. You've got work to do. Your reflexes are still slow.
Maybe for a witcher.
Think drowners or striggers will go easy on you because you haven't undergone the mutations? Though in your shoes, I'd fear Vesemir more than any strigger. Disobeying his instructions? Unwise.
Well, yes, but that book was horribly dull.
I know. And you know that's no excuse.
I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Yeah, I doubt that. I'm pretty sure you will.
Sorry's not good enough. You're gonna read Ghouls and Al-Ghouls in its entirety, appendices included.
No, please! I'd rather clean the stables.
End of discussion. Come on, we'll practice with the others down below.
Shall we run the walls?
Well, it is the tutorial, and I do feel a desire to do it, so of course.
Of course. Is a Witcher school or an elven bathhouse?
Beat you to the bottom.
Maybe if you fall. What did I tell you about breathing? Through your mouth, in rhythm with your steps. Ow!
What the fuck? Arr!
Siri, cut it out.
Falling from great height can lead to injury or even death. Yeah, and what this game means by great height is like, I don't know, like 2 meters, and you just die. I do want to say one thing. You don't need to play the other Witcher games or read the books in order to understand like the narrative of this game. It does help to get the narrative from the others, but you can always look up stuff like that online if you wish to. That's probably why I only intend on doing this game, honestly, because the first 2 games don't really have enough in them or aren't really enjoyable gameplay wise for me to play through them. Just my opinion.
Just need to grow a bit. Oh no. Vesemir's got that look.
What did you expect?
I don't really have a whole lot to say in this opening segment. I'll have more to talk about when we get to gameplay, but yeah, all this is kind of self-evident. I just leave it to explain itself away.
Anything to say for yourself, young lady?
I'm very sorry, Uncle Vesemir.
Young blood craves action, I understand that. But when you fight a beast, knowledge counts as much as your silver sword. At the very least, you ought to be able to tell a ghoul from an owl ghoul.
By markings, like unto the Panthera tigris that in Zerrikania dwells, and by the sickly paleness of its visage.
So you did read the chapter. Still, you should have asked if...
But you were asleep, Uncle Vesemir.
You could have just said that you did it. Whatever.
So you did the reading. Why not admit it right off?
Never pounce on an advantage as soon as it appears. Wait till it stands to have maximum effect. Uncle Vesemir's words.
Well, you're a quick study. Quick, but mischievous. Fine, we've talked enough. Geralt, you're with me, Lambert with Eskel, Ciri with the dummy.
Again?
Stop groaning and grab...
Do you want to fight the adults? No, that's what I thought. Fight the dummy.
What do you think? Should we start by reviewing the fundamentals or go right to free training?
We definitely want to go through the fundamentals because, I guess I can explain the combat. Which isn't that bad, by the way. I know a lot of people hate the combat in this game, and I understand why. I do think it's probably the weakest part of the game, but it's still solid. It does what it needs to do.
Basics. Even
I've unironically played games with worse combat
barely a novice.
or worse mechanics, so
Draw your sword, Geralt.
right. Combat. Witches must be prepared to fight foes of all kinds, be they plate-clad knights, ethereal wraiths, or bone-crushing giants. To match the strengths and exploit the weaknesses of different enemies, witches need to use a variety of weapons and combat techniques. The core tools of their trade are their swords, one steel for fighting humans and non-humans, the other silver for slaying monsters. Now, as far as I'm aware, I think in the books, silver is also used for killing, like, just normal animals, like wolves and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, anyway. However, I believe they changed it in this game for the sake of gameplay, I would say. I don't know. I mean, a silver sword would work well enough against a human. I guess it would break... I suppose it would blunt and break easy against like, full plate armor, perhaps? Because silver's... I don't know, I don't think silver's as dense as steel is. It's not an alloy. Whatever. Witches have also mastered a simple form of combat magic. These signs are not as powerful as the spells wielded by mages, but they can be cast very quickly, with simple one-handed gestures, making them quite useful in the heat of combat. Witches are also adept in basic alchemy. They can brew powerful potions, blade oils, and bombs, all of which give them a keen advantage when fighting stronger or faster foes. Now, I am playing on Death March, so I will be taking advantage of alchemy a fair bit in order to get potions and blade oils and all that. As far as signs go, some of them are more useful than others. It depends on how you upgrade them. Some of them have benefits, some of them don't. Simple as that. Right, okay, it's left on the D-pad to draw the steel. Right stick in to select or deselect a target. I don't often do that. I don't find a lock-on too useful in this game, honestly. But it does expect me to do it here. Right, now I'm gonna have to dodge. Pretty straightforward.
Harry, Siri, see how Geralt holds his sword, its angle. What am I supposed to parry? Pretend now, live later. Riposte! Strike! Counter-strike!
Come on, Vesemir, attack me, my boy. What's he doing?
Now, young lady, to bring the day to a close, we'll go over a few witches' signs. Let's start with Quen.
So this is why Quen's strong. Quen will take a single blow before he breaks, which basically gives you... It's a free hit, basically. That's all it protects you from. You can buff it so that it protects against other, well, more attacks. Quen has some pretty awesome upgrades. But it's really strong to use, and stamina regens quite quickly. So that's what makes Quen strong, because it's easily spammable. And it does, like, you don't need to upgrade it in order to get usefulness from its singular, like its single blow deflection. Still pretty useful. Ignite. Okay, that's just fire. Chance to apply a burning effect. These Igni used to be OP, but like, I think when the game first came out, it got patched pretty quickly as far as I'm aware. Odd is like a force blast, like a force push. Useful when it's really, like, highly buffed, and it gets like a mutation effect in Blood and Wine, which makes it a fair bit better, but it's not all that right now. Right, X is pretty useful, but it's good in, like, dialogue situations because you can actually manipulate people. I might upgrade it a little bit just for the sake of that.
Actually can really muddle your mind.
It's like a mind trick.
Erden now.
Right, Erden. So this is the magic trap. Okay, that slows people down. Yeah, I forgot the controls, man. I haven't played this for a while. So it slows people down and it can weaken sort of like Wraith type enemies. Because a lot of Wraiths can basically avoid your attacks by just making themselves sort of just immaterial. And your blades will go past... Your blade will just fly through them. But if they walk into a magic trap with Erden, it'll basically disable that function, so you can actually hit them. So it does have its uses. We have bombs as well, which are a bit unwieldy to use, honestly. I don't use bombs that much. There is one bomb type that I'll use for like boss fights and such, but other than that, I don't use them too much. Yeah, there you go.
Enough. Continue training at will.
Vesemir, I don't want to fight you, my boy. Straightforward anyway, not a whole lot to talk about. That's just the fundamentals of combat. There's a bit more to it, but one of the things that people dislike about it is the fact that it is quite simple and straightforward, but that's not really much of a criticism to me. As long as it works and operates well, that's fine.
As soon as she's back, we'll set her to polishing all the swords in Kaer Morhen.
Find that helmet?
I've played a lot of games that have combat that just straight up doesn't work properly. So, whatever.
Siri?
I'll make sure to find every last blade for you. What the?
Okay, how did they get a body in there exactly? And nobody noticed. It's Sauron! He's back! He does look a lot like Sauron though, to be fair. In that armor. No! F in the chat.
You all right?
Had a nightmare.
About?
Take forever to explain.
Dawn's some way off. We've got time.
Yeah, let's go into the dialogue options. Also, shout out to the soundtrack here. So basically this will be the opening area of the game, and it's really soothing. I think it's one of my favourite openings of any game, really. I think it's well paced out.
Started in the guest room at Kaer Morhen. I was relaxing in the tub, and next to me,
Triss?
Yennefer. Funny, isn't it? She's never been there. Seemed so real in my dream, though.
Was she nagging you about something? True to life, indeed. We'll find her.
I know we will. That's not what worries me. You've seen her tracks. She's at full gallop all the time. Breakneck speed through wildlands, devastated battlefields. She's in a hurry to get somewhere. Or fleeing something. Either way, it means trouble of some sort.
Be surprised if she wasn't in trouble. She's always poked her nose in beehives. Courtly intrigues here, mages' conspiracies there. What do you expect?
Don't know. Guess I thought once we were finally reunited, things would be calm. At least for a while.
Calm? With Yennefer? Good luck.
In the dream, I went and found Ciri. Then we trained.
Those were the days. Little she-devil. I've trained kids who were faster, stronger, but none had her character. Didn't end well, did it? Your dream?
No. A wild hunt appeared, attacked Ciri. I couldn't move, stood there like a stump.
It was just a dream.
See, this is why I like having hairworks on. Just look at his facial hair. Look at how it's blowing in the wind and everything. And you should see, in contrast with the, with having hairworks turned off, it just doesn't look anywhere near as good. Like, the hairworks has ruined it for me. And it tanks my frame rate, but it looks so good. I have to have it on. I think this is the one time where I'm like, okay, we're sacrificing some performance in order to have something look good. Like, I really do think it looks great. I'll stop rambling. I'm sorry.
In the past, when Ciri appeared in my dreams, something was wrong. She was in danger.
We taught her how to defend herself from anything, wraiths included.
Yeah, I will be rather quiet throughout most of the dialogue in this game. I like to listen to it. I like to just, you know, run it through my head and everything. And I also don't have a whole lot to say on it. Most of the things I'll talk about will be things in between dialogue and during mid-gameplay. So, yeah. Just saying. Alright, I guess we're good. I've done all the dialogue options.
Be dawning soon. Time to go.
Wait. Show me the letter from Yennefer. Might have overlooked some hint in there.
Didn't overlook anything. We were meant to meet in Willoughby. That's what she wrote. Meanwhile, one army or another burned the village to the ground. All we can do is follow our trail, so...
Stop talking for a minute and give me the letter. How about that? It does smell of lilac and gooseberries.
You were gonna read it, not sniff it.
We must meet. Soon. Willoughby near Vizima. Nothing else to guide us there. What's this postscript? I still have the unicorn?
Ah, yes, the unicorn. One of my favourite parts about this game. That is private,
That's
sir.
Private. Very private.
Aha, I understand. At least I think I do. Maybe not entirely, but perhaps that's for the best.
Back on topic. How's it look? How far behind Yennefer are we?
2 or 3 days. Trail's fresh, but it looks like it leads towards the main road. Could be muddled there. Wait, hear that?
I hear it. I smell it. Ghouls.
Monsters. Life on the continent and in the Skellige Isles is nasty, brutish and short. War lays waste to the land, and those it spares live in fear of the countless monsters lurking outside every town and village. Monsters are shown with a silver health bar above their heads, indicating that you should fight them with your silver sword. Yep, again, as it said in the tutorial, monsters you should fight with your silver sword exclusively, and humans and non-humans. Non-humans basically means like elves, dwarves. They're humanoid creatures, but they aren't human, so that's why it calls them non-humans. Pretty straightforward. Anyway, let's get to the combat. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to use Quen to give myself that buff. I don't think I'm gonna use roll too often. God, I'm out the loop with the gameplay, dude. I'm probably gonna get hit a few times. Now I can actually switch signs by holding my guard up in the parry stance and then hitting left or right on the D-pad in order to switch signs. Also, yeah, I am playing with a controller on this game. I don't like the keyboard and mouse controls for this game. They feel a bit janky. Yeah, you'll see me doing like little quick hops after every attack. Honestly, that's out of fear of being counterattacked. Because especially on high difficulties, the enemies do love to counterattack you and they'll do a lot of damage. Again, I am playing on the hardest difficulty here. And while it's not too punishing, I do actually need to be careful. Adrenaline points. Striking opponents generates adrenaline points. Certain abilities that you can acquire allow you to perform special attacks that require and consume adrenaline points. Your adrenaline points slowly decline when you are not engaged in combat.
Of course. When armies pass, necrophages follow. Let's go before any more show up.
Okay, so we have some interesting stuff here. You can regenerate vitality by eating or drinking, or by meditating for at least 1 hour. But it says here, note, while playing on the Blood and Broken Bones and Death March difficulty levels, meditation does not regenerate vitality. Exactly. It's one of the reasons I'd probably recommend going for higher difficulties in this game, just because meditation can kind of cheese it. It means that you don't really need to use consumables. And you'll get a lot of consumables, so it's not like the game's ever too difficult. Alas. Food and drink can be placed in your consumables slots for quick use during combat. Up or down on the D-pad consumes them. And I already have some equipped, so I will be doing that. I'll have some bread. Like the good communist that I am. I'll chew on the bread. I want to try and loot a bunch of shit here though. There's something here, like, that I can pick up at some point. I'm trying to think where it is. It would, if I, oh, hey, hello, I didn't notice that before. I'd also like to state I've got like over 700 hours in this game, and there's plenty of things that I do not know about it. Like, there's some, like, quests that I'll probably discover for, like, the first time in a playthrough, and I'll have never seen it before. Because that's how rich and substantive this game is. Beware! Bandits calling themselves Temeria's soldiers are hiding in the nearby woods. They have been declared outlaws and a threat to the Emperor's subjects. Assisting or sheltering them in any way will be summarily punished to the fullest extent permitted by Imperial law. On behalf of the Emperor of Nilfgaard, Captain Peter Sargwin Levy. Very well. Yeah, here it is.
Bird skull.
Crystal skull.
Black crystal. Why do I think ever tell you about this sorcerer I knew? Couldn't stop talking about how useful they are as creatures.
Horses. Witches spend most of their time on the road in search of their next contract. They must trek across wide valleys, climb over high mountain peaks, and trudge through thick bogs. Luckily, Geralt can always count on his horse, Roach, to help him in his travels. To have Roach come to you, double press the left stick. Oh boy. Good old Roach.
You can brew potions from their blood.
This horse will be our companion
Because
for
by eating rotting
the entire
corpses, they
game.
prevent epidemics.
Did he know they eat the living as well?
No. Really upset him too. His theory collapsed.
War's not exactly going our way.
We have a side.
The Northern Realms.
Radovid's realms, don't you mean? Temeria and Edirn are no more.
Radovid's pledged to restore the old borders as soon as he wins the war.
Believe that?
Gotta believe something. It's what keeps us going.
Suppose we can gallop now that the dialogue's over. Well.
Hey there. We going? Help me! Help!
Hello. A griffin.
Has it gone?
Yeah. Come out.
Nice bowl cut.
Gods, that was close. I was sure I'd end up like my mare. Provided you got lucky.
Your horse died quickly, but griffins like to toy with their prey. Eat it, alive, piece by piece.
You'd like a reward, I suppose.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Could always use a few crowns.
Thing is, I've a meager purse at the moment. Nilfgaardians requisitioned my goods. Now this.
Look, I drive a hard bargain, buddy. Saved your life.
Here.
Also, I'm playing on the highest difficulty, so I need all the crowns I can get.
Back to the trail.
Like I said,
Imagine if that was like a dialogue
main
option.
road and ends there.
Like, I'm on the hardest difficulty, therefore I need your money.
Yes, a woman. Medium height, long black hair. Seen anyone like that?
No. But there's an inn here in White Orchard. Sole one around. Gets its share of travelers. Perhaps you'll learn something there.
Not a bad idea. Especially since that wound needs cleaning.
Ah, beast barely grazed me. But sure, could use a good rye. Nice and cool, you know, straight from a cellar.
Let's go.
I don't think there's anything to loot here. No, it doesn't say anything on the map, so you know. A new entry is being added to the bestiary. Is that how you pronounce that? I've never been able to pronounce that word. Is it bestiary or bestiary? It has to be bestiary, right? Because you're tracking beasts in the bestiary. I'll stop talking. I'll quit being pedantic. I love this, by the way. Just the ability to read shit. I love lore. Like, it's why... So I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like, recently, and oh, fuck me, I hate that game. I hate how so many people love it. Ugh. It's particularly because it fucks with the lore so bad, and that makes me angry, because I like consistency. Entries in the bestiary provide additional information about monsters, including tips and strategies for how best to fight them. And I can close it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that yet. So, we have hybrids. This is basically a type of monster, because obviously there's different categories that monsters fall into. Hybrids, I suppose, are creatures that seems like a hybrid between two others. As you can see, a griffin's like a... Typically, it's a cross between a... What are griffins supposed to be? They are a cross between a bird and horse, I think? It's like, I think that's how it is in most mythologies. I'm not sure how it is here. Necrophages are undead creatures. Like ghouls. Hold on, let me just pull that out so I can read it. Anyway. Griffins. Aye. Half eagle, half tomcat, just like on the Lord's crest. Except this one was carrying me dead cow, instead of a scepter. Griffin attack witness, name unknown. Griffins were once only found high in the mountains, where they would hunt marmots and wild goats. When humans encroached on their lands, however, griffins soon discovered a new source of much more plentiful and easier caught prey: cows, sheep and shepherds. Though still wary of main roads and towns, where folk with the means to hire a witcher are like to dwell, these half-eagle, half-wildcat creatures have gone from rarities to oft-encountered pests known throughout the northern realms. Especially hated are the subspecies known as royal griffins and archgriffins. And as you can see, the bestiary is awesome because it tells you what they're vulnerable against at the bottom. The grape shot bomb, hybrid oil. Again, we'll get to these when I cover them at some point. And the odd sign. I think it's because the odd sign knocks them off their footing. I guess spoiler alert, but I've not really found it to be that useful. I don't know why odd is the weakness to them. Odd doesn't seem to do anything. Ignis seems to be solid, however, because it burns the fur. Whatever. Necrophages. Ghouls. Ghouls creep and crawl at night, eating everything in sight. In a snap they'd eat you too. Chop you up for a ghoulish stew. A children's rhyme. Ghouls and graviers are hard to describe. In part, they resemble humans, yet on the whole, they are the utter negation of all that is human. Though they have arms and legs like men, they walk on all fours like dogs or badgers. Though they have eerily familiar faces, one searches them in vain for any sign of sentiment, reason, or even a spark of consciousness. They are driven by one thing and one thing only, an insatiable craving for human flesh. Wonderful. So there's a bunch of tutorial stuff in here. I'm not really gonna cover these. Not to talk about, really. There's a bunch of characters. I don't know if I want to go over these yet. I think I'm gonna forget about it, but there are characters I will go over when we meet them later. I think that might be the safest time to do it. At least I reckon, anyway. I'm not going to cover that yet, then. All of the books you find are kept there. All of the crafting options you have are here. Pretty straightforward. I can't look at any other elements here yet. We'll talk about them soon enough. While on the road, hold here without steering to automatically follow its path. Okay.
Strange.
My thoughts exactly. In the forest or the mountains, sure, but here, near the main road.
Maybe it's the war. Corpses everywhere, the stench of blood, burnt flesh. Drives monsters crazy sometimes.
Men, too. We need to watch ourselves in White Orchard. And we should leave as soon as we learn anything.
Populated areas. You're nearing a village. Don't disturb the peace. Yeah, you shouldn't do that, by the way. In this game, the guards are like fucking OP. Every time you threaten guards in like a populated area, they'll always be they're literally always 15 levels above you. I think it's 15 levels, but they're always way above your level, so don't try fighting them because it won't end well for you. Remember, town guards and hired watchmen won't tolerate theft, and also won't look kindly on you accosting others. Local residents often erect notice boards near settlements such as villages and cities. These are marked as that on your map. Examine them to learn about contracts, work for witches, and local happenings. Indeed.
Everything's gonna be fine. Gran told me about Smith. Lad went missing one day, so folk nabbed a witchman that was hunting nearby. Started poking
Lot of
around.
geese.
What? Take that down before there's trouble.
That is a coat of arms, the Temerian lilies. They've a right to hang there.
This ain't Temeria no more, old man. It's Nilfgaard now.
farce it is.
What? Witches?
I'll not drink with Weaverlost freaks.
Beg your pardon for those thugs.
No need. We're used to it.
Folk are jumpy around here. Armies just passed through. Now a griffin's prowling about.
Already had the pleasure. One mean beast.
Mean? Light way for a hunter to put it. Clawed Lena so bad, poor thing's 1 foot in the grave. But does no good to wallow in misfortune. How can I be of service?
With a drop of vodka for me.
And you? Something to wet your tongue?
Ah yes, shops. Pretty straightforward. So yeah, it's just that icon if I want to go into the shops. Fair enough. I like what Geralt says here.
Show me what you got behind the counter.
I half expect him to just pull a fucking Glock out. Show me everything you got. Alright. Yeah, basic stuff. So I have my crafting elements and alchemy stuff here. There's not really any purpose to sell these, I think. So I'm never going to do that. I don't think I could sell quest items. A lot of things you just can't sell because the traders won't accept them. Wolven Hour, yeah. It's going to be interesting when I use this because all of the times I've used this potion, if there's a quest it forces me to unequip a certain item, and then this potion runs out, I can't equip it again. Because it's temporary. I don't even know if I'm going to use this, to be honest. And Tawny Owl. I will equip that as soon as possible. Tawny Owl's pretty amazing for the stamina regen. So I have 304 crowns, which is the currency of this game. I'm trying to think what I would purchase here. First off, I might purchase all the Gwent cards that are available here. 50, 70, 90, 140, 170. I suppose I can afford all of them. I do want me some Gwent cards. And I should just... I don't have enough to buy them all. I should buy a few bits of water, though. Let's buy 3 jugs of water. Because it's probably the best regen resource that I can get this early. That's relatively cheap. And I should get the gourmet ability. Because that means that I can... It basically strengthens the consumables by a significant amount.
Pretty busy place you got.
Nations on the move. Some search for kin, others just want to get out of the way of the armies. They all need food, drink, and a night's rest in warmth.
So, war's been good for your trade?
Aye, so far. But it'd be best to know peace again. Times like these, you never know what tomorrow will bring.
There a contract on that griffin?
Nay, not at the moment. Used to be. Soon as a beast had built a nest nearby, the alderman would start a collection, or go to the Lord for help. Now the aldermen don't use the privy without asking the Black One's permission first. And seems they hanged the Lord. So no contract.
Shame. We might have done something, but not for free.
Looking for a woman. Raven-haired, violet eyes, dresses in black and white. Riding in from Willoughby. And, strange as it sounds, Lilac and Gooseberries Might have smelled that.
I've not seen nor smelt such a lady. Believe I'd remember.
Yeah, especially hard to forget this one.
Plenty of travellers about, though. Folk from all over. Might be worth your while to ask after her.
Thanks for everything. Help you bandage that up?
Please. I'm not decrepit yet.
Then I'll ask about Yennefer.
Mm-hmm. Just remember, we'd rather not draw any attention.
Here, Black One's been out measuring the field.
You got a new Gwent card.
Better that than burning the harvest.
Drommel, you're done
We'll
with
cover
it.
Gwent in a moment. Gwent's awesome.
Parcel out their patrimony. Give it to their own.
Also, yes, I've noticed that the Hairworks is really fucking the FPS, so I'll probably disable that by the next part and see how it changes it. If it doesn't seem like if it's a marginal change, I don't think it will be, but if it's pretty marginal, I might just put it back on, just for the fact that it looks great. But I want it to at least, you know, run well enough.
And we seek some peace and quiet.
Out of my face, freak. For your breath sours my beer.
Oh, thanks. Not a dick at all. Options marked with that will make use of the Axis sign. This sign influences people's minds, causing them to act according to your will. To charm more stubborn individuals who would otherwise resist during a conversation, invest in the delusion ability in the character panel. Yeah, that's what I meant about how you can upgrade Axis in order to allow you to have influence over conversations by manipulating people with the sign. It's pretty cool. But not many people upgrade that ability, so they might not even get to use it. But of course I'm going to use it, because I like this exchange.
Dressed in black and white. Seen her? Talk.
Folks say the lady rode through the village a few days back. Galloping so fast she knocked Radabor into a ditch.
Which way did she go?
Dunno. Lots of tracks leading off the main road. Could have gone anywhere.
Oi, people! The freak's taken Micah's mind!
Uh-huh. And I'll take your tongue if you don't shut up.
Situation diffused. Easy clap.
Once more, there are 4 factions.
4 what?
Factions, teams, suits, similar to clubs and spades, except each suit has its own face cards. There are also special cards.
Wouldn't you rather play war? It's like to be near dawn before you get your game in the noggin.
What a waste of time. The Earth shall revolve around the sun before you comprehend these rules.
Ha! He doesn't know. Pepe laugh.
Got a minute?
Why not? Aldert Geert, assistant professor in contemporary history at Oxenfurt Academy.
Geralt of Rivia. Witcher, with tenure. I'm looking for a woman. Long hair, dressed in black and white. Seen anyone like that?
Of course not. Unlike the populace, I know the horsewoman of war is pure poppycock.
Horsewoman of war? What's that about?
Folks say an omen. A beautiful phantom rides the fields at night, looks as you described her. Armies follow her, and all who cross her path meet with misfortune.
I can vouch for the last bit. Know where they saw her?
No, facts interest me, not fairy tales.
Not a place I'd ever expect to find a scholar. Take it you're fleeing the war?
Quite the opposite. Chasing it. I'm headed for the front.
Tired of life?
I seek knowledge, which I value more than life itself. I've a thirst no dusty old tomes can quench. I wish to see the Nilfgaardian invasion with my own eyes, understand it, and record it all in my chronicle, my magnum opus.
One of the things I love about Geralt in this game is his dry sense of humour, and just how well he inflects on dialogue choices that you make. It really adds a lot to his character, especially seeing as he does have limited emotions.
Interesting. We need somebody to describe war, what it's really like. Not colorful banners and generals making moving speeches, but rape, violence, and thoughtless cruelty.
Ah, I see you lack the polish of the Academy. Rape and cruelty are details of no import to the war's course. Trinkets on the garment of conflict, one might say.
Tell that to the people whose houses burned down. War reached Novigrad yet?
Nope, but it's only a matter of time. Nilfgaard on one bank, Redania on the other, drooling over the city like dogs over a juicy bone.
Many a ruler's choked on that bone.
True. We value our liberty in Novigrad, and we know how to fight for it.
The scholars especially.
The sword is not the only weapon. Do not forget, architects from our academy designed the city walls. Walls no war machine has ever crumbled.
Gotta go. So long.
A moment, Witcher. You strike me as a man of the world. Are you familiar with Gwent?
Why, yes, I am.
Don't have time to learn.
But the rules are quite
Funny you should say. Gwent's fucking awesome. I'm kind of concerned on how I'm gonna do Gwent in this LP. I don't want to do it too often because like some games can take a while. I guess I'll go over it. I don't know if I'll do some like stuff like Gwent off camera or on. I suppose we'll see. We'll see how I feel about it.
Why not?
Splendid. Here's how it's done.
It's a nice diversion, so I like that. I'll begin the tutorial just so I can explain it. Welcome to Gwent. Gwent is an ancient dwarven card game that simulates the clash of two armies in battle. The players are generals, and the cards are their forces. Starting hand. To begin, you draw 10 cards. This will be your hand for the rest of the match. You will not draw any more cards, so use these wisely. Unit card strength. This is a unit card. The number in the upper left corner indicates its strength. When placed on the battlefield, this value is added to the total strength of the player who placed it. This is the unit's combat row icon. This icon indicates the row of the battlefield where the card can be played. Close combat, ranged combat, or siege combat. Some units have special abilities. The Kedweni Siege Expert's special ability is called Morale Boost, which grants +1 strength to all units in the same row. And weather cards. They reduce the strength of all cards of a given type on the battlefield, including your own. So, Biting Frost will reduce all of the close combat cards to having a score of 1 if they all have base stats and their stats aren't buffed or manipulated in any way. Torrential Rain, yeah, I think that's against the siege weapons. And what is it? It's like Blinding Fog or something for the ranged cards. I forget the names of the cards. I'm sorry. At the start of each game, you can select up to 2 cards to discard and redraw. So yeah, this is the battlefield. Both sides for me and the opponent, straightforward. So yeah, I can put a card or pass. And here's the where a bit more of the depth comes in terms of the leader abilities. And I can press X to get that. So I just need to put a card down. Alright, which card are we starting with? I don't want to put anything too strong down, so I'll put you down. Sheldon Skaggs. The number on the left by your icon shows the current total strength of your units. The number on the right shows the total strength for that row, and both values are updated when a card is played. At the end of a round, the player with the highest total strength wins. So yeah, the highest number next to sort of like the profile icons will win, and it tells you each roll. Well, each row, should I say. I can pass by pressing Y. Can't play any more cards, but the opponent can. Yeah. So there's a lot of intentional... like, there's a lot of times where I'll pass to intentionally lose a round in case I want to save cards for the next round, or if I want the opponent to... If I throw a few cards out there that have decent points, have a decent point value, and it forces the opponent to waste cards in order to take the round, because the AI, they'll want to win the round. They often won't pass until they're in a comfortable position, so you can manipulate them with that. So yeah, after the round, all of the cards that were placed in said round are discarded, which means we can't use them again, with the exception to some... well, there's some exceptions to that, like where we can pull cards from the graveyard. So what's the opponent gonna play? Zerrikanian Fire Scorpion, okay. So just trying to trounce my points there, I see. And I reckon I will respond in kind. Now, you don't really want to place cards on the same row of times, because now that I've got 2 ranged cards, they might throw down a fog, if they have it, in order to completely ruin that row, because it will reduce both of these cards to 1, so I'll only have 2 points instead of 9. And I want to vary up all of my rows by basic... I don't want to... how can I put it? To me, I kind of want to spread myself in, as opposed to specialising on a certain role, because I could be easily countered that way. So I'm going to put a siege card. Actually, no, I'm not going to put you down. No, I'm going to put you down. What I can do here is I can throw this Torrential Rain to screw over his siege line, and I can avoid putting anything on the siege line, so I don't get screwed by it. But he'll just do clear weather anyway. So that's kind of a mulligan. Nothing really happened. It's just a counterplay, I suppose. Yeah, I don't really enjoy most card games that much, but I get a strange enjoyment from Gwent. I can't quite explain it. I do kind of want to win this round. Let's put another on the front row. What are you going to play? You're also going to play another on the front. I'm still in the lead. I could invest in one more card and then pass. I think that's what I'm going to do. Depends on what they do next. Yeah. Even if they win this next round, they're going to have to, like, a minimum, throw another card out. Which is going to give me card advantage. Yes, there you go. And, oh, that's really bad for them, because he used a card which has that little handshake icon is called the Tight Bond, I believe. And if you place that card next to a card of the same card together, they will bond together and they will double their point value individually. So it's 3 points on its own, but if you put them together, they will both of them will jump to 6 points. So you're getting 12 points out of them. And it's very strong, especially when you can get tight bonds on multiple cards, and you can buff your points really high. But it doesn't often happen, and when it does, they often get just, like, destroyed pretty quickly. Via the Scorch mechanic, and I might get to that at one point. Anyway, life gems, that's basically how the rounds work. So if he wins the next round, I'm done, and I lose. So the next round is a must-win for me. But hopefully I have card advantage, so I should be able to pull better than him. He's passed anyway, so straightforward. I'm just gonna play this card. It's a shame that I have to play that card, but whatever. Let's just look at my leader ability. Impenetrable Fog, that's it. That's the name of it. Yeah, I don't need that. So yeah, we've won the round. Now we're on even footing. And I drew a card because I won the round. Pretty useful. I want to bid. I don't think he has any Scorch cards in this tutorial, so that's fine. See, that's interesting, because what I can do now is I can play this again, I think, to basically pass a turn. Force him to use a card. And then I'm going to put the weaker card in first. Yeah, I think I've pretty much won this. And I can put Impenetrable Fog in as well, because my ranged row is empty, so I'm not losing anything here. But he's relying on his ranged row, so if I use the leader card to get the fog card from my deck, that will screw his point value. And I win it pretty easily. It's more complex than that when I start to get more cards that have different abilities and such, but yeah. Sometimes the only issue I take with Gwent is that there are plenty of times I will lose games just because I got a shit hand. It's RNG dependent. There is skill involved, of course. You can take a bad hand and still get something good from it. But you can get screwed over by having a shit hand. And that's why you just try and optimize your deck to the best, well, in the best possible manner, I suppose. So yeah, hopefully that's all well and good. There'll be points later on in the game where we'll have, what can I say, sort of like tournament style events where if you get eliminated, you know, you're out. And typically I'll use save states for those because I'm kind of petty. I like to win. But I think I don't need to get the cards from those events. I think the only time I'll ever do that is in the tournament in Blood and Wine because I kind of enjoy it. Actually, I might not do it for that either. Who knows? You can still like do the story. You can still like do the quest line attributed to those tournaments without winning the tournament. I just like winning. Pro tips. There's no shame in passing and letting your opponent win a round. Sometimes it's better to save your cards for later. I already said that. Each deck also features its own heroes. Heroes are high value cards immune to the effects of special cards. These powerful cards can turn the tide of battle, and I will explain those when we get some. Acquire more powerful cards by completing certain quests or purchasing them from vendors. And there we have our score summary at the end.
Well, you've a knack for this game. If you ever find yourself in Oxenfurt and wish to play a true master, ask for Stepan. A simple innkeep by trade, but a true maestro when it comes to Gwent.
I'll remember that. Thanks.
A Miraculous Guide to Gwent. So yeah, I have new books, and I can read them as soon as I pick them up, I believe. I think this guide changes when I pick up cards, I believe. Is that... okay, that's her letter. The tome you hold in your hands, commissioned by the most gracious Duke de Berry, shall make use of magic most arcane to display which Gwent cards are currently missing from your collection. You need but open it and repeat in your mind, how about a round of Gwent? And the following shall appear. Velen, there are 47 cards available. Novigrad, there are 34. There are 28 in the Skellige Isles. 1 in the Royal Palace in Vizima, and 1 at Kaer Number of new cards which can still be won from players of no particular renown or skill, 47. Okay. And then of course there's the DLC cards as well, but we won't get those for a while. New item received, Zoltan Shiva. What? Okay. Yeah, I already know. I already know about books. So if I press back, I can actually go to my Gwent deck here, or the back button. Yeah, you can build a deck for each faction. I'll probably explain this at a later part. I'm not going to go into detail on it now. Because anyone watching this video will die of fucking boredom. Yeah. Oh, white. I want to change my leader to this one. I prefer having a clear weather thing that I can just call upon at any time. It's pretty useful. I will take you. Yes, I know how it works. I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you. I'll take you and you. I'm gonna get rid of the poor fucking infantry. Get rid of the foot soldier. You are useless. Begone. I'm only gonna have one of each of these cards, and I don't think I'm gonna take any clear weather cards. A bold move, I know, but you know. I'm not gonna take cards I don't. Oh, actually, I do need to take those. There's some cards I just don't want because they aren't that great. I think that's fine for now. I'm not gonna dawdle on it.
Looking for a woman.
Like everyone.
Not like everyone. And not just any woman. Mine smells of lilac and gooseberries, dresses in black and white.
2 schnapsies. It'll lift your spirits.
Fine, I'll have a drink. Can we cut to the chase? You seen her or not?
Yennefer of Vengerberg.
Never mentioned her name.
Yet you described her perfectly. And once I hear something, I never forget. Can't help it.
What do you do? Who are you?
A mangy vagrant.
Oh, wow. Is that an occupation?
Vagrant? That a profession now?
Yeah. Mangy vagrant.
The madding crowd dubbed me Master Mirror, or the Man of Glass.
Interesting titles.
How do you know Yennefer?
What a question. Master Dandelion's ballads, of course. The only way a humble merchant might hope to rub up against greatness. Unless, that is, he's as lucky as I am.
And runs into a very patient witcher.
It's a Geralt of Rivia himself. The Butcher of Blaviken.
Recognize me from Master Dandelion's ballads, too?
To your health.
You seen Yennefer?
Deepest apologies, but I must ask. Is this about love?
None of your business.
Yes. As a vagrant, I deserve no explanation.
What do you know? Tell me.
Before you appeared, it never occurred to me that might have been Yennefer. Who would have thought?
Get to the point.
An Nilfgaardian scout from the local garrison saw her.
Where?
At their camp. She rode in there. Dark of night. Black and white. Gooseberries and... Yes, I know. Had a terse exchange with the garrison commander and raced off.
Where to?
I'm not omniscient. Ask at the garrison.
Thanks.
We men of the road must stick together. Perhaps one day I'll be in trouble and you'll be nearby to help.
Interesting man. Very interesting. Alright, gents.
Done drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Then fuck off. Don't want your kind here.
How tolerant. Free against one, my you're brave. Yeah. Let's be a snarky bastard.
Better round up someone else to help. 3 of you don't stand a chance against me.
Well, I could fuck you up by myself.
If I had a bag over my head and my hands tied behind... Actually, no, not even then.
Shit, Lesh, back off. I'll teach this vagrant a lesson. Man on
What?
freak.
What happened? Oh, it was the horse. Now, the one thing I probably don't like about this game is the fist fighting. It's really janky control-wise. What's he What the fuck's he doing? My boy. Get fucked.
How long you gonna make me wait?
Also, once again, I don't want to get clobbered.
Nice meeting you.
Easy clap. All the screams. Wonderful. Move, you bastard. Your game state will automatically be saved when you reach certain milestones. Yep. Alright, that's a good time to talk about saves, because I think that's where I'm going to stop this part here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to turn the hairworks off. It is a bit janky, and I'll see what happens. Let's get to a quieter spot, my word. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in part 2. This has been a long video. Take a while to export. Anyway, I'll see you in part 2 when I do whatever, I suppose. We've got some side quests to do next time. That kid is running around in a circle. Alright, I'm gonna end it. See you guys later. Peace.